Today we have a boatload of good news. We will make progress today in increasing economic activity in our state. We'll make progress moving forward with more access to sporting events.
Just like you heard, big breaking news tonight, news that we've all been waiting for. Washington will soon move into phase 3 of reopening, meaning more capacity for restaurants and even the return of fans attending sporting events. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us on KREM 2 News First at 4. I'm Tom Sherry.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Whitney Ward. So the governor said it is absolutely the result of the hard work that we've been doing here over the last year. So we want to get straight to our political reporter, Casey Decker. He's been monitoring that announcement from the governor here. Hi, Casey.
Well, hey, Whitney there. Tom, for weeks, leaders here in Spokane and across the country have been asking, when will we get news about phase 3? We've been in phase 2 for a while now, and it didn't seem like we'd be progressing anytime soon. But in pretty much a surprise announcement tonight, the governor saying it's time.
Because of the work we have done in reducing the infection rate in our state and reducing the hospitalization rate, we are now eligible to move forward on phase 3 of our economic recovery plan.
All right, so what exactly does phase 3 look like? Here are the details that we have so far. First off, restaurants and other indoor facilities can soon open to 50% capacity. That's huge news for many businesses who were saying 25% just wasn't cutting it. Those venues will max out at 400 people with that 50%. The same 50% capacity 400 max rule applies to most outdoor events and venues too. But in an exciting development for sports fans tonight, large outdoor stadiums will soon begin to welcome fans back to the stands up to 25% capacity. The cap on those venues, 9,000 people rather than just 400. That means the Mariners home opener will actually have fans, and it could be great news for local teams too, like the Indians and the Shock. And it should be noted, masks and distancing still required at all of these venues. All right, so when will this actually happen? In just over a week, March 22nd. Though there is an actual exception for high school sports, those can go to 25% on March 18th. This plan also goes back to the county by county system rather than the regional approach we've been on the last few months. Every 3 weeks, counties will be evaluated on key metrics. Those updates will be announced on the Mondays of those weeks, and any phase changes will take effect the following Fridays. So what are those metrics? Well, instead of 4, there'll now just be 2, and you can see them here. It's new cases per capita and new hospitalizations per capita. If a county fails to meet both criteria, it'll get booted back to phase 2. If the next go around it meets the phase 3 criteria again, then it can go back. But this is key. Counties can only move up or down one phase at a time. So for instance, even if a county somehow fell into the phase 1 range of those metrics, it wouldn't actually go all the way back to phase 1 right away, just phase 2 at first. The numbers you see here, those are for larger counties, including Spokane County. Smaller counties like Ferry County, Stevens County, they have a different set of thresholds that's slightly smaller. And there is one other contingency here. If at any point the statewide ICU occupancy exceeds 90%, all of Washington reverts to phase 1. But if we do keep these numbers down, spring is starting to look much better for local businesses. Whitney, Tom.
Thank you, Casey. Well, today's announcement also comes with big news for high school and youth sports, because starting next Thursday, March 18th, the capacity for spectators at outdoor sports will expand to 25%. KREM 2's Amanda Rowley joins us live from Cheney High School football game with reaction from parents tonight. Amanda.
Good evening, Tom. That's right. We're hearing a lot of excitement from parents and their student athletes about this news today. In fact, we're already seeing some changes. Starting today, the Greater Spokane League is allowing 2 spectators for all freshman and JV sports. And that's something we are seeing here today at the Cheney High School freshman football game. Parents are already making their way to the stands, and this does fall into that restriction for phase 2 with the maximum of 200 people. Now, just yesterday, I talked to a parent who was imploring the state and GSL to let them in the stands just to watch their athletes play. Now, starting next Thursday, they will no longer have to cheer on the varsity teams, any of those teams, from the fence line.
I am so ready for our sports to be open and to be able to come and see them and bring grandma and grandpas and all of that stuff. We're just so ready to have something similar to what it used to be before the whole pandemic shut us all down, and watch sports and cheer on the boys.
Now, to be clear, the reason GSL is allowing some spectators in the stands for freshman and JV sports is because these games typically have less people on the field compared to varsity sports. GSL says it wants to maximize the current limit of 200 people. Still seeing some parents filling in today, and a lot of them really cheering at the news that, hey, we're moving to phase 3 here in a few days. Reporting from Cheney, Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
Amanda, thank you very much. And today's announcement is certainly welcome news for local restaurants. In less than 2 weeks now, they can double the number of people that they can bring into their establishments. KREM 2's Mark Hanrahan talked actually to a downtown Spokane business owner today. Mark, what did she have to say about today's announcement?
Whitney, simply put, she was happy by it, right? It's been an extremely difficult past year for businesses here and all across the state for that matter. This announcement for them represents one step closer to being back to normal. Rima Shaver owns Mustango Martini Lounge in downtown Spokane. It's a pretty small space, so she debated even reopening at 25% capacity because it for her is still tough for her to cover her operational costs with such a limited number of guests being allowed in. Today's announcement that they'll soon be able to expand to 50% capacity will have a real impact to their bottom line, and it'll allow them to bring back another employee.
It was really hard. 25% was awful. I mean, it was hard having guests wait outside for a table in the cold, weather. And on rainy days, they just wouldn't wait or sit in the car. It was tough, but we got through it. And as I told you, back then, I just got really tired of complaining, and I just said, we're just going to open. I was able to bring back 3 of my employees, so I'm very grateful for that. And with the 50%, I've already called my other employee, so I will be able to bring back 1 more employee.
Well, the last year has been especially tough on businesses like Rima. She says she is happy that our state is doing well in terms of vaccinating people. And while they're happy the governor is increasing capacity to 50%, she says she and other business owners will continue to advocate to reopen at 100% capacity. But Whitney, Tom, this announcement today for them represents a little bit of breathing room. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Mark. Big news today also on the vaccine front in Washington. On Wednesday, March 17th, Washington will be moving to the next tier of vaccine eligibility. Everyone in Tier 2 will now be eligible for the COVID-19 vaccine. People in Tier 2 include workers in agriculture, food processing, grocery store workers, public transit, firefighter, law enforcement, as well as workers in corrections and jails and detention centers. It also includes folks over 16 years of age who are pregnant or who have a disability that puts them at a high risk.
This is another tremendous step forward in our fight against this pandemic. We're glad to be able to advance this even a week earlier than we thought we were going to be able to do, to get more shots into arms as quickly as possible.
Washington has surpassed its goal of 45,000 vaccines per day on average. As of March 8th, 10% of Washingtonians are fully vaccinated and 18% have gotten at least 1 shot. And according to Governor Inslee, get this, 60% of our population that is 65 years and older have all been vaccinated.